From the beginning of Kol Nidre until the end of Ne'ilah, many of us wear our talitot. The talit is a mitzvah required of us from age 13 on, and a beautiful ritual from our tradition, from Torah, often handed from generation to generation. Many of you have a story or a memory about from where your talit came or who gave it to you. Rabbi Navarez is fond of saying at B'nai Mitzvah that the more worn the talit, the more treasured, precious, beloved, and valued it is. This talit, which I changed to for Yizkor, is worn and torn. But it is the last talit my father wore at the Civic Theater on Yom Kippur 2003, the fall that he died. He forgot his own talit back east. This talit has been with me for a long time. I purchased it in 1988 in Jerusalem's Old City. I do not remember when or why I retired it, but keeping it and on special occasions wearing it takes me back to the loving relationship between me and my dad. I was reminded of this in a reading before the Kaddish prayer on Rosh Hashanah morning. Like many of you, I used to sit next to my father in shul and play with the fringes of his talit. During the priestly blessing, he would wrap his arm and talit around me. The warmth of his embrace made me feel even closer to receiving that blessing. Some of you may carry or wear physical memories of those that you love, precious jewelry, a watch, a favorite tie. I often wear my grandmother's engagement ring. It brings her to my heart every time I wear it. For each of us who is grieving for someone or for several souls, whether those deaths occurred this past week or this past year or many years ago, these losses often come back to us at Yizkor as if they happened yesterday. Some of you may be in the process of experiencing the sorrow of loving someone who is on the verge of dying, and our hearts are with you. The grief we feel at Yizkor is palpable. We miss the touch, the voice, the presence we once felt physically. We yearn for what might have been. We may be angry for what was not. I frequently think about life after death and envy those faiths whose ideas include promises and guarantees and even details of what the afterlife is like. As Reformed Jews, we have no such assurance. We do not presume to know that we have the answer. We do respect our brothers and sisters who believe in the Olam Haba, in the world to come, and in the many Jewish traditions different from ours. And we also have the hope, as our Torah says, that our ancestors were gathered to their ancestors. We do not know what that means really, but it is a hope. So let me tell you what I see today. It's odd that I never mentioned it, but in my mind's eye, every Yizkor, this congregation becomes significantly larger, and today, this sanctuary is filled to overflowing. I can see sitting next to you, or standing behind you, or in the aisle, the people that we have lost. And as plainly as I can see you, I can see your spouses, your grandparents, your parents, siblings, children, those on our Kaddish lists week after week we knew and loved. I see their smiles as they take their places where they once sat by you or when they came to visit. For those of you whose loved ones I did not know, I see them in your faces and through your tears. And for those of you coming online, we know of your loss because you are here with us. Please share the names and the chat and something about those that you loved, or try and be sure to speak to someone today about them. I'm so fortunate to have 25 years of memory here. Many of you have so many more. And as we reminisce we remember both the good and the difficult parts of our loved ones' lives. Voices of siblings, parents, grandparents, children, friends, and those who died with no family left for whom to say Kaddish for them. Voices of those who left this earth too soon, and the voices of those whose lives were well-lived and long. All of them made a difference in our lives. So often we cry out, "Why did you give us these precious lives only to take them away too soon?" In truth, any age feels too soon, and any amount of suffering too much. Somehow, as moderns, we feel entitled to know why someone left us when they did, or why they suffered. But in the mystery of living and dying, we are privy to so little. We simply ache with sorrow. On Yizkor, what we can do is honor the fullness of this room, feel our loved ones' touch, remember the sounds of their voices, or their beauty, if only for a moment. Perhaps if you close your eyes, they will appear. Memory is holy, as were all of these souls. Our privilege is to remember them, thank them for our lives or for what they taught or gave us. Many of your gifts come to you from your loved ones. Your gifts of language, math, the law, medicine, science, the arts, and business. And what you gave your loved ones in return is equally precious, no matter how short or long time they were with you in this world. And as I'm looking out today, I do not see an overflowing congregation composed only of sad souls. I also see pride, gratitude, and love. Some of you are wearing talitot given to you by a parent or who come from a generation before. I can feel the warmth of my father's embrace just wearing and touching this talit. Some of you, I am certain, remember as children, or probably do the same for your own children now, being held inside your parents' coat jackets or wrapped in the folds of skirts, surrounded by their love. When we rise for the El Malei Rachamim today and recite Kaddish, think of the weight of history in this room, the thousands who will rise up with us and be remembered for their love, for their gifts, their mistakes, and especially for the difference they made in our lives and in this world. Zichronam livracha, their memories forever with us. And I wish you Gemar Chatima Tova.